Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlin here tonight with your NXT Takeover Vengeance Day preview and predictions on Thursday, February 11th, 2020. It has been a minute since we've talked about NXT here on the channel. I believe since the last takeover, and I haven't been reviewing NXT TV as of lately. I haven't really been, I guess you could say, interested in the weekly shows, which is why I haven't been reviewing it. But I think based off of what happens on this show, if it's like a great show and I really enjoy watching it, I'm probably going to go back to reviewing NXT on Thursday nights. Thursday nights here for you guys on the channel. So today we are here to preview this Sunday's takeover. 5 matches. From what I saw, I do watch NXT, I just don't review it. But from what I watch, the card Sunday night looks pretty solid in my opinion, and it should look like a good show. But ladies and gentlemen, enough of me talking. I'm not alone tonight. Nah, I figured let's bring a guest onto the channel. Let's bring a someone who's been on the channel before and someone who's talked about an NXT TakeOver before. He is back for the first time since NXT TakeOver 31. Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Jonson. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Joseph? I appreciate you for bringing me on the Big Fight Field channel. I'm back. Feels good to be back. Feels good to be back. I feel like Triple H returning at Madison Square Garden back on this show, man. I've been gone for so long, and I'm back. Me and you, we're the great, me and you, we're the best duo. We're the best duo since Steph and Clay. Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, man. Brady and Belichick, best duo since those guys came along, man. So I'm just glad to be on. Glad to be back.
Best duo breaking down NXT for you guys. This man knows a lot about NXT. So I'm gonna ask you the first question. What has your thoughts been on the overall product of NXT the past couple weeks, with both Dusty Classics leading into TakeOver?
My thoughts on the overall product is it looks to be a step right back in the right direction. As we all know, NXT 2020, I don't want to call the NXT product in 2020. I don't want to say it was bad, but it didn't feel like the NXT of old. And, we can factor in a number of reasons for that, whether it be they don't have the Full Sail crowd back, which is really detrimental, which is really a big part of what they do. If they were focused on kind of programming AEW each week, AEW each week, if Vince had more say and influence on the product, all those things you could argue were a factor in NXT last year, which kind of made it lose its, its oomph and its appeal that it had in 2018 and 2019. But I think the product over the past couple months going into since the beginning of 2021, I think it's been a step in the right direction. I like the fact that they did both Dusty Classics, because and I like the fact that they're starting to emphasize tag team wrestling again this year, which was sorely mishandled last year, which is very, very rare, to say about NXT. The one thing to say about NXT is they've always had a pretty strong tag team division. And last year they didn't have that, and now they're starting to build that back up again. I like the stories. I like the storylines they've been doing. I like the storylines they've been telling heading into this show and heading into this year. And I think this takeover show is going to be great. I think it's going to be the best one in a long time. Wow,
that's bold right there. But I agree. I am enjoying both Dusty Classics. I'm enjoying the men's more than the women's. I don't know. We could talk about this like when we talk about the show itself. But for right now, I'm enjoying the men's Dusty Classic more than I am the women's. There's just NXT tag team wrestling was dead in NXT in 2020, and I feel like this tournament can give it its momentum that it needs. Like, you've had great tag teams put on great performances in this tournament, like MSK. You had Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, Legado del Fantasma. There's been some great tag teams in this tournament, and there has been some excellent matches in both women's and men's Dusty Classic tournament. But before we get started on the preview and prediction side of TakeOver, if you guys have not already, you can go check out this past Monday's Monday Night Raw review up on the channel. And you can check out last night's AEW Dynamite review, which is also up on the channel as well. Let's get into it. 5 matches this Sunday at NXT Takeover Vengeance Day. As they said in the show promo, it is your alternative to Valentine's Day. So the first match we're going to talk about is the finals of the men's Dusty Classic between MSK and the Grizzled Young Veterans. These two teams, MSK, they just came into NXT. They are having a great showing in the Dusty Classic, making it all the way to the finals. Grizzled Young Veterans, they were in the finals last year, but they lost to Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle in the finals, the Broserweights. And they are back from NXT UK. They are off their hiatus. And they are looking to claim what they wanted last year, the Dusty Rhodes Cup. And they're going to get that chance Sunday. I'm going to give it to you first. Your thoughts on this match, and who is your winner of the men's Dusty Cup?
Just to run over some points that I made earlier. Run over some points that we made earlier. I've been a really big fan of the male Dusty Tag Team Classic this year. I think you've had a lot of really strong showings this year. A lot of strong matches, I think, in this division, in this tournament. Whether it's been from MSK, Kinley Dane and Drake Maverick, to the Lucha House Party, to my personal favorites, and I'm sad they didn't make it, Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. I'm just, Undisputed Era, Breezango. I'm just very happy with how this tournament came out to be. MSK and Grizzly Young Veterans in the finals. I'm going to give this to MSK. I'm going to give it to MSK. I was leaning towards the Grizzly Young Veterans, but then I remembered that the women's Dusty Cup winners get a tag team championship match also. And I don't think Naomi and Lana are winning the tag team titles when they have their tag team championship match. And so for that being the case, I don't see WWE doing 2 heel versus heel tag team championship feuds in Dakota Kai, Raquel, Gonzalez against Shayna and Nia, and then you have Logan and Birch who are also heels. So I don't think they're going to have 2 heel versus heel tag team title feud. So for that reason alone, I'm going with MSK. I think MSK gets the win here, and I think MSK are becoming your NXT Tag Team Champions when we have TakeOver WrestleMania weekend. So I'm giving this to MSK.
Nice. I'm thinking the same thing as you are, and we're not going to have 2 heel versus heel tag team championship matches. But when you look at the Grizzled Young Veterans, you look at Zach Gibson and James Drake, they are an awesome tag team. I love the Grizzled Young Veterans, and I'm happy that they are back in this spot. I would have said they were going to win last year, but Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle just made the most sense. They were the hot tag. They were so over last year, and then they ended up beating the Undisputed Era for the tag team championships. So it's tough for me not to pick against the Grizzled Young Veterans. And I do think that they deserve a run with those tag team championships. And I do think if they have some competition in the tag team division, that they can have a very good reign as the tag team champions, because I think whoever wins this match, they're taking the titles from Birch and Lorcan, because they have, I don't remember, I don't think they've defended the tag team championships ever. Like, I don't remember them defending the titles at all. And that's quite sad. They're not having a memorable reign at all, even after they just turned heel. So, I'm going to go with the Grizzled Young Veterans to win this match. They're going to win the Dusty Cup, and they're going to go on to beat Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch for the tag team titles whenever that happens to be. So this match, I'm going with the Grizzled Young Veterans over MSK.
I have a question before we move on to the next. Next match.
Go ahead.
Are Logan and Birch the worst tag team champions in NXT history?
That's a good question. Like, seriously, I don't remember them. I can't remember a time they defended the championships, if I'm totally being honest. So if I'm gonna answer your question, I'm gonna say yes, just because I don't remember them defending the titles. What about you?
I would have to agree. I mean, we've had some doozies as NXT tag team champions. Breezango, that lasted like a month. Breezango lasted like a month. The Villains, that lasted like a month also. So we've had some just very memorable champions, but Logan and Birch probably be my pick, and that's a shame because I wanted them to win the tag team titles for a long time.
I feel like everybody did, and then they dropped the ball in the rain. So, I mean, it's whatever, but we'll see what happens. He's going with MSK. I'm going with the Grizzled Young Veterans. Next, we're going to talk about what Triple H called a dream match on his TakeOver conference call today. It is Kushida versus Johnny Gargano, Johnny Takeover, for the NXT North American Championship. They did this angle last night on NXT. I know you watched the show, so I'll ask your opinion on this. They had Johnny Gargano in a wheelchair with William Regal on the stage, and Regal was talking about how, Johnny is cleared by the NXT medical team, and then Johnny said, I don't trust those doctors. I went to my own medical team, and they said that I'm going to be out for a couple weeks. And then Regal was like, I just need confirmation from Kushida. And he's like, why do you need confirmation from Kushida? And then Theory turns around, and Kushida is standing there like he's a part of the faction. And he goes to attack the Way, and then he beats Austin Theory. And, outside of that, I think it's going to be a great match. I don't know how Kushida got to be the number one contender, though, of the North American Championship. That's me not fully caring about the NXT product lately, but I think this should be a great fit. This is going to be a great technical match for the North American Championship. What do you think, Cam?
I agree, man. I agree. Anytime you have Johnny Gargano on a takeover, his nickname is literally Mr. Takeover. His nickname is literally Johnny Takeover. So anytime Johnny Gargano is on a takeover show, expect his match to be match of the night. If it's not match of the night, expect it to be the second best match on the entire show. And at worst, expect the match to be excellent. At worst, expect the Johnny Gargano takeover match to be excellent. At best, expect the Johnny Gargano takeover match to be match of the year worthy. So that's what we're getting here with Johnny Gargano and Kushida. Kushida has been very protected. He's been very protected. And we talk about the most protected guys in the company. Of course, you have Roman Reigns, you have Drew McIntyre, and I am not even exaggerating. Kushida will probably be number 3 on that list in terms of how protected he has been since the Velveteen Dream, since his match with the Velveteen Dream. I think it goes back that far. That is how well protected that man has been that man has been. And Johnny Gargano and Kushida, it's gonna be a great match, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a great match up front. I'm happy they're finally doing something with Kushida. When Kushida first came in to NXT, he was doing a whole lot of nothing. And I don't know if it's because they didn't really have anything for him. I don't know if it's because they just had so many guys doing other stuff and they couldn't really find any room for Kushida, so Kushida had to wait. But he was doing a whole lot of nothing. Now he's gotten his momentum back. He's gotten his momentum back, and Kushida's been on a roll as of late. So I'm happy to see that from him. And in terms of wins here, my original prediction was Johnny Gargano, but last night on NXT, I caught something. I don't know if many people caught it last night from NXT, but it was after. I think it was after the Kushida Austin Theory match, and Johnny Gargano came in. He tried to beat up Kushida, and they tried. The Way tried to jump Kushida, and Dexter Lumis made the save for Kushida. And after the match, we saw Dexter Lumis choked out Johnny Gargano and Kushida's holding the NXT North American Championship. We saw Dexter Lumis just give a death stare at Kushida. He gave a death stare I don't know if he was staring at Kushida or the North American title, but it looked like Dexter Lumis was coming for that title. And I don't know the direction they're going in with Dexter Lumis. I don't know if they're turning him heel, turning him babyface, turning him heel. They're going to keep him as a babyface. I don't know what they're going to do with him. But I think Kushida is walking out the NXT North American champion. The NXT North American champion. And I think Kushida and Dexter Lumis, or maybe a three-way with Kushida, Lumis, and Gargano, I think that's going to be the match takeover weekend, WrestleMania takeover weekend. So I got Kushida walking out with the North American Championship.
Nice. That's a tough one for me. Kushida, you're right. He's been very underutilized since he came into WWE, but he's been very protective. Kushida, as a matter of fact, has not lost since the Velveteen Dream feud. I felt like he has not lost a match in NXT. It had been pinned clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. I'm glad they're giving him time on TV. They are giving him a meaningful feud for a championship like Johnny Gargano and the North American Championship. I don't know about you, but I am a big fan of his new faction, The Way. I'm liking Austin Theory, the addition of him, Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell. She's got to get better as a wrestler, but she's going to be okay. But Johnny Gargano's new heel character, I think, is just excellent. He's not that tough heel who is going to get in your face and want to fight you. He's the cocky heel who tries cheating in all of his matches, and he's going to try to get away with some things that William Regal won't let him get away with. And I absolutely love the new character form of Johnny Gargano. But for this match, I am really looking forward to this match. This will be a great match. I do think that Austin Theory will get involved in some way, but my heart wants to say Kushida is going to walk out the new North American champion, but I just can't do it. I don't know why. I can't do it. My head is going with Johnny Gargano. I'm going to go with my head on this one. I'm taking Gargano to retain the North American Championship. It's not going to be a clean finish. They might have another match again on NXT television for the North American Championship, but this Sunday, I am going with Johnny Gargano to retain the North American Championship, and Dexter Lumis will beat him in a one-on-one match to win that championship, whether that's the Nxt Takeover or that's WrestleMania, whatever it is. So I'm going with Johnny Gargano to retain the North American Championship.
Okay.
All right, so moving on. He took Kushida. I took Johnny Gargano. We got the finals of the Women's Dusty Cup between Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. They're going up against Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Blackheart and Moon defeated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell last night. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, they defeated Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro, who is getting a lot of heat right now on social media. But as the match goes, I told you earlier that I don't see two heel versus heel matchups, and this is the match where I think the babyfaces win. I am going with Ember and Shotzi to win the Women's Cup, and they're going to go on to face Nia and Shayna for the tag team titles, whether that's on a Raw or SmackDown or WrestleMania, whatever. But I think they're going to win this match and go on to face the tag team champions. I don't really got much to say about this match, to be honest. It should be very good, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Shotzi and Ember and Moon on this one. Cameron, who do you got, my friend?
I really want Shotzi and Ember Moon to win, because Shotzi Blackheart is quickly becoming, or she's been for a while, my favorite female performer in all of NXT. Outside of Toni Storm, which you all know how much I love Toni Storm, Shotzi Blackheart has been number 2 for me in terms of females that I love on the roster. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think what Becky Lynch was in terms of Becky Lynch, she was the Irish last kicker. She was a woman that pretty much everybody loved. You know, when you got on social media and you saw a Becky Lynch match, you pretty much nobody was hating on Becky Lynch and saying, oh, Becky sucks, and they all love Becky. I think Shotzi Blackheart has that kind of potential. I really do. I think she can be huge. But I'm going with Dakota and Raquel doing this Dusty Classic. Raquel Gonzalez is getting ready for something. I don't know what they're prepping her for. I don't know if they're prepping her for a run with the tag titles. I don't know if they're prepping her to take the NXT Women's Championship off of Io Shirai. But they clearly see something in Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez has very much improved over the past year. She went from somebody who what are they really doing, to somebody who I look forward to seeing in the ring now. I would call Raquel Gonzalez a pretty good wrestler. And then you have Dakota Kai there too. Dakota Kai's great. Dakota Kai's great. And I'm going with Raquel and Dakota because Dakota Kai has really been doing a whole lot of nothing in NXT. And Raquel Gonzalez, I don't know if they're ready to have her take the championship off of Io Shirai. So I can see them giving her. So I can see WWE or NXT giving Dakota and Raquel the tag team titles. So I'm going with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez in this match to win the first ever Dusty Cup for the women, at least.
See, I thought all the way back at New Year's Eve we were going to get Io versus Raquel for the Women's Championship. We did not get that. We got another Rhea Ripley Raquel Gonzalez match. Instead, they had an excellent last woman standing match where Raquel Gonzalez did win. And I do think that Triple H, Shawn Michaels, all of them, I do think they're going to put Raquel Gonzalez in that position to be the Women's Champion this year. I thought that the match was going to happen at New Year's Eve. It didn't happen. I thought it was
happening on this show.
I did, yeah. After that, I was like, it's going to happen on this show. Clearly, that did not happen. We'll talk about that match next. But I thought that was going to happen on this show, but that's not the case. They're putting her in this Women's Dusty Cup, and as for Dakota Kai, I mean, you're kind of right. You get to the point where there's almost nothing for you to do, and it's almost like, what are you doing? Like, if you have nothing to do here, you got nothing to prove to nobody, then head on up. Kind of like Rhea Ripley, she did everything she could in NXT, and she had nothing left to prove. She was not going to be women's champion again. So what do? She hasn't been on Raw and SmackDown yet. I'm sure she's going to be on SmackDown. That's the brand I think she's going to go on, but they moved her up. So I think Dakota, it might not now, but maybe by SummerSlam weekend, it might be time for Dakota to go up, in my opinion. What do you think about her going up to the main roster soon?
I would agree with you that I think Dakota Kai, because Dakota Kai, she's really done all there is to do in NXT. She's been at Women's War Games. She's challenged for the championship. She's challenged for the championship a bunch. She's already feuded with Shotzi. She's already feuded with Shotzi. She's already feuded with Ember. So she's pretty much, I agree with you. She's pretty much done everything there is to do down there. But for me being selfish, I want her to stay in NXT because I don't trust Vince McMahon at this point with any main roster talent.
Oh, I don't either.
NXT talent that just caught up to the main roster.
So if it was
up to me, she would still be in NXT. But I understand that's not how it works. She's gonna have to get called up. So I think she is on her way up. I'm just terrified for her. I'm just terrified for her because I don't think Vince McMahon is going to use her well.
Trust, dude. I do not want Dakota Kai to go up to the main roster by any means, but I just have a feeling it's going to happen soon. It's like she has nothing left to do, and what is there for her to do down here to help the NXT Women's Division when you have uprising stars like Mercedes Martinez, Shotzi, heck, even Xia Li. She's going to be at the top of the women's division card pretty soon the way her gimmick's going. So that's the women's Dusty Cup. I'm going with Shotzi and Ember Moon, and Cam is going with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. So far, we are different. Were you going to say something?
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. But I was gonna ask you. How do you think they break up Dakota and Raquel? Do you think it's like a amicable split, however you pronounce that word, with Dakota just showing up on the main roster and Raquel staying back in NXT, or do you think there's a feud between them or something?
Dakota could probably she could put Raquel over, I think, but at the same time, do you think Dakota Kai is better as a babyface or a heel? I'm not so sure. So I'm going to say I don't know to your question. That's a tough one. So as I was saying, we got all different picks so far for the first three matches. And then we're going to move on to the NXT Women's Championship match. Triple threat. We got Toni Storm, Mercedes Martinez, and Io Shirai. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys here. I have no idea how this triple threat match came about. So, Cameron, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to let you take the way. How did we get to this triple threat match? What do you think about it, and who do you think is going to win?
So basically how we came to this triple threat match, here's how we came to it. As we all know, Toni Storm turned heel right before NXT Takeover War Games, and as we know, Mercedes Martinez prayed to whatever God, prayed to whatever God she believes in to get out of Retribution to go right back down, to go back down to NXT, and Mercedes Martinez beat the piss out of Io Shirai. I think it was at New Year's Eve. I could be wrong, but I think Mercedes came back and she beat the piss out of Io Shirai on New Year's Eve. And from there, you have Mercedes Martinez go, I want a championship match because I just stick out the champion. And at the same time, you have Toni Storm go, I want a championship match too because I turned heel. Even though I've been away due to this whole, pandemic, I'm back. I want a championship match too. And that led to Io Shirai going, okay, well, I'll just take on all three. So that's pretty much how this match came to. So that's pretty much how this match came to be. So yes, that's pretty much how this triple threat match came to be with Io and Tony. You know, with Tony, Io, and Mercedes Martinez. I think Io Shirai retains here. I think Io Shirai retains the NXT Women's Championship here. Although I would not be against at all them putting the championship on Toni Storm. Because the more Toni Storm we get on NXT, the better. The more Toni Storm we get on NXT, the better. I promise you, them ratings are going to soar. If you put if you have Toni Storm and Scarlett Bordeaux on TV at the same time, I promise you, man, them ratings are going to soar. They're going to soar right through the roof. But I just don't see it happening. I think Io Shirai retains the NXT Women's Championship here, and I don't think Io is dropping that title until we get to Raquel Gonzalez, if they don't win the Dusty Cup.
You know, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Io to retain. That normally doesn't happen in a triple threat match because usually the champion doesn't get involved in a pinfall, and one of the challengers pin each other. But in this case, I'm going to go with the champion. I'm going to go with Io Shirai. I think she is going to pin Mercedes Martinez to retain the Women's Championship. I do think this could be a very good match. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be a very good match that people will have a lot of eyes on. Toni Storm, she's been on the TakeOver stage before. I believe this is Mercedes Martinez's first TakeOver match ever. So I think she'll have a lot of eyes on herself. But Io has had the championship for 8 months, but I just don't see them taking the title off of her Sunday night. I do think that Raquel Gonzalez is going to be that person who takes the Women's Championship from Io Shirai in the near future. So I'm going with Io to retain the Women's Championship. And then finally, I think this is the match that everybody is looking forward to. I think this is a dream match to a lot of people. We have the NXT Championship on the line in the main event between challenger Pete Dunne and champion Finn Balor. First off, I just want to say I'm happy Pete Dunne is in this spot. This is his first main event on a TakeOver. He has been the UK champion, the longest reigning UK champion, I think. But I think Walter is about to pass that pretty soon. Pete turned heel. He aligned himself with Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. And I'm just happy they put him in this main event spot because he absolutely deserves it. And he's too good not to be in the NXT Championship picture and have a huge marquee match at a TakeOver against Finn Balor. So I am super hyped about this match. I'm going to hand it over to you, Cameron, to give your thoughts on what I think is going to be an epic match between Pete Dunne and Finn Balor.
Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. This is a match that I don't want to say but most wrestling fans, if you enjoy good wrestling at least, have wanted since Pete Dunne came to WWE in 2017. We've wanted Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. We thought we were going to get it, but the question is, how are we going to get it? Is it going to be a case where Finn Balor shows up on a special occasion of NXT? Got the dog barking. If Finn Balor shows up on a special episode of NXT UK and challenges Pete Dunne for the NXT UK Championship, is it going to be and then when Finn Balor came down to NXT and when he came back to NXT in 2019 and Finn Balor went heel, we said okay, Pete Dunne ain't doing a whole lot of nothing. It'd be a great time to give us Finn Balor and Pete Dunne. Well, we finally have Finn Balor and Pete Dunne. This match is going to rule. This match is going to be awesome. Finn Balor has been on an absolute roll of late since he's come back to NXT. He feels much more rejuvenated in NXT than he ever did on the main roster. Finn Balor in NXT is put on it feels like he's put on classic after classic after classic after classic after classic. When you look at the matches he had with Damian Priest and Timothy Thatcher, and then Adam Cole, and of course Johnny Gargano, and of course Kyle O'Reilly. So Finn Balor has been on an absolute roll as of late in his matches. And Pete Dunne, we know the caliber of performer Pete Dunne is, so this match is going to be great. I'm glad Pete Dunne is getting a spot in the main event of a TakeOver show because he deserves it. Pete Dunne is great. But I just don't see Pete Dunne winning the NXT Championship right now. I still think the plan in NXT is to do Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. It's a story that writes itself. Karrion Kross never lost, he never lost the NXT Championship. He had to vacate it when he got injured. He's back, Karrion Kross is back, and he's going to get the NXT Championship back. I'm convinced of it. So I think Finn Balor is winning the NXT Championship here. It's just not Pete Dunne's time. It's just not his time. But don't worry, Pete Dunne will be NXT champion one day. I am convinced of it. I don't think Pete Dunne will ever go up to the main roster. I think he's perfectly content. I think he's perfectly content working behind the scenes on NXT UK and showing up on NXT whenever they need him. I think he's perfectly content doing that. I don't see him ever going up to the main roster. So he will be NXT champion one day. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But right now, as much as I would love to see it, it's just not his time. So I think Finn Balor retains the NXT Championship here.
I absolutely agree with you. I want Dunne to win the championship, but he is getting a chance at the championship. Wrong place, wrong time, in my opinion. It's WrestleMania season, and yes, we're saying it's WrestleMania season with NXT because, Cam, I don't know if you heard, but a couple weeks ago, I think it was sometime last week, WrestleVotes put out a tweet saying that that higher-ups in WWE and Triple H are trying to talk about getting an NXT Championship match on WrestleMania's card, knowing that it's 2 nights and they'll have some matches to fill out for both nights. So I absolutely love that idea of having the NXT...
Yeah, man, that Finn Balor Edge match is going to rule, man. That's going to kick ass.
That is not going to be your NXT Championship match. And it's not your NXT Championship match. What I do think is going to be your NXT Championship match, though, is Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross. I think WWE would be dumb not to have the NXT Championship defended at WrestleMania. It gets people talking about NXT. I think maybe their ratings will get better. Who knows if they have a good build going into this match at WrestleMania. But I think if you were going to have an NXT Championship match at WrestleMania, Finn Balor is going to be your champion, and he's going to go up against the guy that never lost the NXT Championship in Karrion Kross. No disrespect to Pete Dunne at all. I love Pete Dunne. I want him to win this match. I don't think he's going to, though. He will be an NXT champion, like Cameron says. It's not a matter of if. It's the matter of when is he going to be the NXT champion. Is it going to be the end of this year? Is it going to be in 2022? Only time will tell, and only the right time will tell for Pete Dunne. But for this main event that I think it has a chance to be an absolute classic, I'm going to go with Finn Balor retaining the NXT Championship. You got any final thoughts on this main event happening on Sunday?
In terms of final thoughts, I do think Karrion Kross is laying out the winner of this match. I think whoever walks out the NXT champion in this case, probably Finn Balor. I think Karrion Kross is laying them out.
I do too. I do think that'll happen as well. And Kross won the show, standing over Finn Balor. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up here tonight with the NXT Takeover Vengeance Day preview and predictions. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning back in to the channel here tonight. If you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got 6 new subscribers last night from the AEW review. I very, very much appreciate that. We are at 351 subscribers here on the channel. The goal here is to get to 400 by WrestleMania here on the Big Fight Field channel. Comment down below. I want to know all of your predictions, all of them, for this Sunday's NXT Takeover Vengeance Day show on the WWE Network. Hit that like button if you like what you heard from myself and Cameron in this video. Follow me on Twitter, at Conlin_Joseph. Where can they follow you, my man?
Follow me on Twitter at Cam71101. If you like to talk wrestling or the NBA, basically anything in general, I'm up for. So make sure you follow me on Twitter at Cam71101.
Cameron, I want to thank you for coming back on the show tonight. It was great having you back and your great detail and insight on the NXT Takeover show Sunday night. So I want to thank you for coming on tonight.
I want to thank.
Were you saying something? I think... Did you say something?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I couldn't...
I just wanted to say thank you for having me back on the Big Fight Field channel. Anytime Cameron is on Big Fight Field, it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely damn right.
Anytime I'm on Big Fight Field, it's going to be a good video. Please subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. Help my man Joseph get to 400 subscribers. He deserves it. He's generally one of the nicest people in the entire community. He deserves 400 subscribers. Help him get to 500, 600, 700. Help this channel grow, because it's absolutely great content every week.
Thank you so much for that, dude. So I will see you guys tomorrow night back here for your SmackDown review. But for now, have a good night, stay safe, and as always, stay classy.